All right, let's talk about what might just be the original life hack. Way back in 1960, this book comes out called Psycho Cybernetics. And I'm not kidding, it became this underground secret weapon for top athletes, for CEOs, you name it. It completely changed the game on how we think about success and failure. But here's the twist. You'll never guess who wrote it.
It wasn't some psychologist or a self-help guru. Nope, the author was Dr. Maxwell Maltz, and he was a world-famous plastic surgeon. Seriously, and it was his day job, literally changing people's faces, that stumbled him onto this huge puzzle about how our minds work, a puzzle that a scalpel just couldn't fix.
And this was the question that just kept him up at night. I mean, he would see some patients get surgery and bam, their whole life would change. But then there were the others, people who got a brand new face, looked incredible, but on the inside, they felt exactly the same. They were trapped. Why was that?
So, to figure this all out, Dr. Maltz realized he had to put down the scalpel and look deeper, into the mind itself. He went back to his patient files, and that's where he started seeing this really strange repeating pattern.
I mean, look at this. On one side, you had these absolute miracle cases. Someone painfully shy suddenly becomes the life of the party. A kid everyone had written off becomes this brilliant executive. Amazing, right? But then, there were the complete puzzles. He'd give a duchess a literally perfect nose, and she'd still act like she was hiding her face. Or even crazier, some patients would look at their completely transformed face in the mirror and say, "I don't see any difference, you didn't do a thing." It was clear whatever was going on, it wasn't just skin deep.
And that's when he had his big aha moment. He realized that every single one of us has two faces. There's the one we see in the mirror, sure, but there's another one, an inner face, kind of like the face of our personality. And that face, he figured, was the one that was really running the show. He gave it a name, the self-image.
So what exactly is this self-image? Well, you can think of it like your own private mental blueprint of who you are. It's all the beliefs you hold about yourself, usually without even thinking about them. I'm just not a morning person, or I'm great under pressure, or I always mess things up. We don't sit down and decide to create this blueprint. It gets built for us, piece by piece, from all our past wins, our epic fails, our embarrassing moments, and especially from what we've picked up from other people over the years.
And here's the really crucial part. According to Dr. Maltz, this self-image isn't just some vague idea floating around in your head. Oh no. It is an active, powerful force. It's like the operating system that runs in the background, controlling how you act, how you feel, and what you do. And most of the time, you don't even know it's happening.
Think of your self-image like a thermostat. It sets the boundaries for your life. It defines what you believe you can and cannot achieve. So if your internal blueprint says, "I'm a C student," you'll find a way to get Cs. If it says, "I'm kind of awkward at parties," guess what? You'll be awkward at parties. It's because all your actions have to be consistent with that image. You literally can't act any other way, no matter how hard you try to force it with willpower. It's the foundation your whole personality is built on.
Okay, so if this self-image is the target we're all aiming for, how does our brain actually, hit it? Well, to answer that, Maltz looked to this super cutting-edge field of science for his time. It was called cybernetics, and it was all about how machines could be built to seek out goals.
His big idea was this. Our brain and nervous system work just like a servo mechanism. Just think about a heat-seeking missile. You give it a target, right? Its sensors are constantly feeding it information. Am I on course? A little to the left, a little to the right, and it automatically adjusts its fins to stay locked on until, boom, it hits the target. Well, your brain does the exact same thing. The target isn't a plane, it's that mental picture you have of yourself. Your 5 senses are the sensors, providing constant feedback. And your brain and nervous system make all these tiny subconscious adjustments to your actions and behaviors to make sure you hit that target, whatever it is.
Now, this is a really important point, so let's be crystal clear. Maltz is not saying we're just machines. Not at all. He's saying we have a machine inside us. And you're the pilot. You're the one in the driver's seat. You get to set the target. The machine just faithfully carries out the orders.
Okay, so if we're the operators of this incredible machine, how do we actually program it? How do we give our internal guidance system a new, better target? Well, according to Maltz, the main control panel, the #1 tool you have, is your imagination.
And this is the whole secret. This is the reason any of this works. Here it is. Your nervous system cannot tell the difference between an experience that really happened and one that you just vividly imagined. Let that sink in for a second. When you imagine something with incredible detail, with feeling, your brain and your body react exactly as if it were happening for real. It's wild.
And don't just take my word for it. There's amazing proof. Check out this classic study they did on basketball players. They split them into 3 groups. Group 1, they practiced free throws every day, and they improved by 24%. Makes sense. Group 2 did nothing and, you guessed it, 0 improvement. But Group 3, this is the kicker. They never touched a basketball, not once. They just imagined themselves making perfect free throws for 20 minutes a day. Their improvement? 23%. That is practically the same as the guys who practice for real. It proves that mental practice builds the same connections in your brain as physical practice.
And honestly, the best of the best have known this forever. Think about it. Grandmaster chess players play whole tournaments in their head. The best salespeople run through a tough meeting in their mind, handling every objection before it even comes up. Golf legends like Ben Hogan would see the entire perfect shot in his mind's eye before he even swung the club. They're all doing the same thing. They're using their imagination as a kind of flight simulator for life.
All right, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually do it? This is the best part. Dr. Maltz didn't just dump all this theory on us, he gave everyone a step-by-step practical plan to actually build a new self-image. He called it a mental rehearsal, and it's pretty simple. For about 30 minutes a day, you just find a quiet spot where you won't be bothered and you relax. Then you create a little movie in your mind, and you are the star of this movie. You see yourself on the screen acting, feeling, and being exactly the person you want to become. Confident, successful, whatever it is. The real trick is to load it up with details. What do you see? What do you hear? Make it so vivid that your nervous system has no choice but to believe it's a real memory.
So, the big question is, how long do you have to keep this up? Well, Maltz's magic number was 21, a minimum of 21 days straight, and he got that number directly from his work as a surgeon. He noticed that it took about 3 weeks for his patients to get used to seeing their new face in the mirror, so he figured that must be how long it takes for an old mental picture to start dissolving and for a new one to really start to stick. And let me make one last thing super clear. This is not positive thinking, okay? This isn't about just chanting affirmations in the mirror while deep down you still feel like a failure. That doesn't work. That's just slapping a bumper sticker on a broken engine. Psycho Cybernetics is about getting in there and actually rebuilding the engine. It's about changing the thinker, not just the thoughts.
So, when you boil it all down, it comes to this one simple truth. The image you hold of yourself, that's your master key. It can be the key that keeps all the doors to what you want locked tight. Or it can be the key that opens up a whole new world of possibilities. So the real question isn't about the door, it's about the key. What door are you going to unlock?